What is up, guys? Welcome back once again for another Walking Dead video for Daryl Dixon Season 2. We got our first pick from this next season. We're not seeing much teaser material yet. We just got that first stretch of tease, early late last year that was released after the first season. So we know what's going on. We know that Carol's on her way to France to track down Daryl. Other than to find him and bring him home, we don't know a whole lot. But with this video too, I want to give you a peek at this picture that I did come across that was released, I want to say 2 or 3 days ago at this point, so I'm a little behind. But in this picture, and just jumping right into it, we just get a shot of Carol. She's got this bloody forehead, she's got this wound on her head, she's got the crossbow and everything. So I want to say, with the context, that this is probably right after that scuffle that we saw with that little tease clip that we got about a month ago or so, where Carol confronts the people that she knows had something to do with the fact that Daryl has disappeared, other than, they had his crossbow, they had his motorcycle, and so this is probably right after that, and that blood on her forehead is probably a result of that. I mean, no doubt. I don't believe this is when she actually gets to France. I'm hoping they'll at least take a couple episodes, because we're supposed to meet a new character that Carol is supposed to meet up with. And I remember something about when he was introduced, that part of his introduction, or part of his description, was he was a pilot at one point. He liked to take his plane and fly around on little leisurely flies. And I want to say that's possibly how she gets to France in the first place. I don't think she's going to make her way onto a cargo ship or anything like that, because it would raise too much suspicion, being that Madame Gene's people are still out there. She's still out there from what we see anyways, because also within that teaser that we got, she was involved in a ambush with Daryl and his people. So I'm thinking this picture anyways is probably when she's still in America. She hasn't made her way over there yet, and this is probably shortly before she meets that new character. I can't recall his name because I've not been keeping up with the Daryl Dixon news as much as I should. But I'm going to say that she probably gets over there on a plane of his, if he still has one, if it can accommodate such a trip. But with that said, this is the only little bit of teasing. Still no release date, and there's a lot of talk out there right now that we may get this pushed out until sometime this fall, because we're not going to get any Dead City this year. It's in the middle of filming. It's supposed to release sometime next year, and then we got a lot of stuff going on with that right now, so I'll leave a link to a couple of videos in the description below. But right now, our Walking Dead content is pretty slim since the end of the Ones Who Live. Still no idea what's going to happen with that. I don't think they're going to do a second season at this point. I think if they were, they would have come back with it. And with that too, I think with the fact that Carol is going out there looking for Daryl, I want to believe, and it would make sense for the story, and it would add a little excitement for the story. And not only that too, because there's supposed to be some drama between Daryl and Carol, that when Carol goes out to look for Daryl, this is after Rick has returned, and maybe she's going to drag him home, saying, Rick has come home, you need to come home. And that's why maybe that whole radio transmission debate that's out there right now, and I've made several videos about it myself, where she doesn't immediately tell him that Rick is home, if that's in fact within that same time frame. I don't think she would want to tell him over the radio. And I think, hopefully anyways, that's part of her journey, that she's going to make it over there. She's going to tell him face to face that Rick is home. You can stop looking for him. We need to go home. But there's a lot of talk and speculation right now that there is going to be a conflict that arises between Daryl and Carol once she finds him, that he is going to make the choice to not go home. And I think that's what leads into the season 3 that's already been announced, that he's going to go over to Spain. And so I think there is going to be some problems as far as getting Daryl home immediately. I don't think it's going to be just a matter of her finding him, making him go home, and that's just the end of it. Aside from the fact that we did get season 3 already announced, I think there's going to be some conflict, some drama right there, where Daryl feels this sense of obligation, because we saw at the end of last season where he is on his way to leave, and then he can't because he sees Laurent on that beach. And I'm really, really hoping it's not going to be the case for a couple different reasons. With the whole Laurent story arc, I'm really hoping they don't follow along and keep doing that. He's the chosen one, or what the hell ever. I think that's a tired, washed up story, and I just think they should abandon that and go with the fact that they're just trying to defend themselves from whatever dangers that are coming their way. And I really hope that he doesn't become a point of obligation to Daryl as far as he gets guilted into staying. I think if Laurent or Isabel guilt trips them into staying, I will lose all respect for those characters. I mean, I can barely stand Laurent as it is. And Isabel, I'm hoping that they develop a better relationship, a better friendship, if not more, but I don't want it to be on the basis of that she guilts him into staying, because she knows on some level she can play on his conscience or whatever, that he needs to stay, he needs to look after Laurent, he needs to see this mission through wherever it goes, because we still don't know, because obviously we just got the announcement of Season 3, what the details are. Are there going to be more storyline involving Laurent, Isabel, maybe Carol, or other characters that we haven't met yet, and that's what pushes him to Spain? You know, because there's the big speculation out there, and I did a video too of this as well, where the whole Spain storyline comes into play, because if you're not familiar with other offshoots of the Walking Dead comics, there's a whole standalone story about the brother of Rick Grimes, who is in Spain at the onset of the apocalypse. I don't think they'll go that direction because it just wouldn't make sense, but that's the big debate and speculation right now about why he's going to be in Spain in the first place. So there's a lot going on with Daryl Dixon about what they could do. How many seasons it'll last, we don't know. I think they initially wanted to do at least 3 for Daryl Dixon and for Dead City, but I have not heard much more about that and what they plan to do and how far they really want to stretch these particular characters and what stories they could give them without giving us the reunion that we've all wanted for so long. But it seems that the reunion aspect of everything is really on the back burner. We got that initial reunion that we wanted, which was to get Rick and Michonne back together and get them back home. And the whole CRM thing just kind of fell by the wayside, just the way they did it, and it was very rushed, and there's a lot of people, myself included, that just kind of found it underwhelming and very lackluster. So whether or not we actually see Daryl reunite with Rick, that's pretty debatable right now, and I think the chances, at least at this point in time, are pretty slim, because they want to focus the story in other directions, and maybe Andy and Denai haven't really signed immediately back on for something, so there's always that possibility too. But anyways, I just wanted to cover this new photo that we got, a few other random topics within the Walking Dead world as far as what we can see. Again, no release date for Daryl Dixon Season 2. Tribeca Film Festival is next month. They will get first sneak peek at it, but as far as it being released to the public, no idea. There's a lot of talk of it being pushed past the summer and going into the fall, because then it would close out the year with Walking Dead, whereas otherwise it wouldn't, because we don't have any more Walking Dead content this year, and I don't know if there's any more talk of any more spin-offs, but right now we just got the 2, so we'll see what happens. But if you enjoyed the video, you enjoyed my thoughts about it, please be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, of course subscribe to the channel, help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers, and I'd really appreciate it. So until next time guys, take care, bye.